So did Erica tell me what's going on here? You're getting your first shot?
Yes, I'm getting my first, and the name is it?
Yeah, the tirzepatide. Tirzepatide.
Tirzepatide.
Triceratops, got it.
Yeah, so
My
it's
my first tirzepatide
yeah, that's right.
Got it.
shot. Yes.
Yeah, it is your first one.
Yes, my first one.
Yeah, we went over the benefits and potential nausea that can occur, and how we'll talk more about how we'll prevent that.
Pretty good.
That we could go ahead and inject. So this is injected on the flanks or on the shoulders, and we would be doing this every other switching side every week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and so now that it's dry, just a little poke.
And we will post your numbers.
Okay. Yes.
And so you can see your numbers. You're getting your shot.
Well, congratulations on the start of a new journey. This will be exciting. Yes, I mean, I take the medicine too, right? And so I prescribe it to kids 12 and above. I'm seeing, basically people who are just, it's changing their lives, especially the youngsters, because they've never seen themselves not be able to be controlled by the food. It's not the food controlling you.
Yes.
You're controlling.
There's a reason why it's a temptation.
The food noise, yeah. And so this is where the starts, and no one ever wants to come off these. People ask, well, do I have to be on these all your life? No, you can actually go through gaps where you may want to stop for a month, and you'll notice when you start eating all the cookies like me, hey, no problem. The next day, Jessica and I, we're going to get our shot tomorrow, right? And that's how you do it. Yeah, so you can it's like almost like flying a plane. You can because once you reach a target weight, your body wants to stay at that set point.
Yes.
Yeah. Either direction. When you lose all your weight, it takes a while for it to go back up. So we want to kind of keep you at that set point. And once the starts coming off, just change a little. The controls on the airplane to get it back into.
Okay, good. So it's very manageable.
So the numbers that I really want to focus on is what my body fat mass and my muscle mass is. What's the numbers I want to focus on?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The biggest for me is just overall weight, because that's going to be what we want to target, and then like you said, even better if you focus on your actually two things: overall weight trend and muscle mass, because the fat will be going down. You have to worry about that, but it's in water intake, it'll give you some measure of water. But for me, it's the weight, because that's what we're always going to be going with in the future. Right. And if you're building muscle, your weight may be stabilized, and those ratios will be the important thing more than But the first thing that happens is when you're having less appetite, you'll be eating less. You'll be kind of consuming less. So you're going to go through this catabolism. Your body will be breaking down. These sources of what we store are fat. But sometimes, well, not just that. It also happens in your muscle. It gets energy wherever it finds. So the muscle, it kind of breaks down the glycogen, the sugar in the muscle. Uh-huh. So that's why the muscle mass decreases. But it's not you're losing muscle necessarily. There is some muscle loss. These studies show that everything decreases. It's because you're getting your energy source from your own tissue. That's called catabolism.
Okay.
So you go through this phase, but you also want to start thinking about building up your muscle. That's the anabolic, like the anabolic steroids, not just the anabolic, portion of your physiology. You're building muscle. You're going to start going, as you're losing weight. Getting that muscle built so that you don't have that loss, and then it's like the best thing, because it's not just loss of exterior fat, it's a loss of belly fat.
Yeah.
So belly fat, it actually it's the worst, and what we're learning is it actually has different enzymes, and it has different toxins that are being produced, more that are more inflammatory. Than just where the storage that we have on the outside. So it takes care of both. Versus if you had this liposuction, that's only taking care of the storage fat. It does nothing for the the fat that really matters. So this is revolutionizing the whole industry. We're seeing plastic surgeons doing a lot less liposuction. I think that's down 15%. That was a podcast I heard just yesterday. Down like 15% maybe since COVID, but for gastric bypass, maybe that's more than the last 5 years. They have been down. This is at least in Australia,
Wow.
so 75%. So it changes. So if you think about it, when we had PPIs, proton pump inhibitors for reflux, those came in the late 70s, early 80s. They were doing surgery to cut the acid. That surgery kind of really disappeared. No one really needed to do that anymore. Sometimes some new invention will have a cost in other fields. And so now we're seeing that with lipo. I was thinking of implementing lipo where there's less need. You could achieve most of what you want with just the medication. And then, if you have, and I've had lipo, that can help, especially if you've been heavy for a while, like I was heavy as a kid, and so that's, but just to lose weight, that's out the window. This works.
This works. Okay.
It's better. And so here we go. Here, and then next week we'll do the same dose. And I'm going to see how your body adjusts in this first month. So for folks who are, that I normally see that already say, you're losing weight already. But if you're on the upscale, going up, rather, upswing of the weight, the first thing is flattening out in that first month. And then there's going to be a drop after that. Once you start after month 1, usually around 5 pounds a week, based on this.
Wow.
Oh no, 5 pounds a month.
There we go.
5 pounds a month. But then what you add to that, and is like, the added exercise. You can eat, lose more weight.
Okay.
Keeping your hydrated. That's important. And so we're going to be seeing how the results are. You'll be very happy. I've never met a client yet who had a concern that we can manage. So I always thought, let me tell you what happens next. So as this medicine kicks in, it works in 2 ways. It tells your brain, hey, I'm not hungry. In fact, it mimics what's in your stomach. There's like 20 or more enzymes that we've known that are kind of proteins that go to the brain when you're feeling full. And you're doing good, and the level goes up. But when it goes down, of course, you get hungry. That's how we all work. So they discovered that having the same molecule or very similar, then just injected under the skin is released and letting the brain know, hey, I'm actually still full. To just a slight degree. You're still getting hungry throughout the day, but you don't have the ravenous appetite. And so, basically, it works. Number 1 in the brain. Number 2, how these medicines work is it also kind of slows down gastric emptying.
Okay.
So everything, things are just moving a little slower. So if you think about it, what you're eating stays in your tummy a little longer, right? So you're not needing to eat as much. But the thing is, as things, it's not just your stomach, your small intestine, your colon, as well. Everything's a little slower, and so if things are held in your stomach too long, you feel nauseous. Yeah, and so you'll learn to eat smaller portions. As your body already knows. The second you feel full, you're not going to be happy eating like I would normally be eating, because you feel more nauseous. But the side effect that also happens is, ironically, constipation. Why? It's because not just the stomach, but also the rest of the colon and large colons, things are slower there. And the slower things move there, the harder, the material is. So you have the harder poops and whatnot. So you can prevent that. A lot of us prescribe Miralax, or if you take prune juice every day, at least for the first week when you start the new box or a new dose of medication, or the medication we give you, just to make sure that you're aware, things are moving. I'm very sensitive. I do need something as soon as the day I get to that, the medicine. So you'll see how your body responds to that.
Okay.
But that's the other manner it works. If things are just in your tummy a little longer, and then between those two, really, it's hard to think you'd be having the appetite that you might have had from before when you'd had your favorite dessert. My thing would be cheesecake. My favorite. Thank you. I'll eat yours too. But when I take this medication, this is cheesecake. It's going to be like, it's there, and you just keep walking. It doesn't really trigger that drive to want that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.